11:01 and we are starting now. Okay, my name is Nana and I'll be moderating for this session. And I would want to take us through some housekeeping items. So the first on the list will be to inform you that the webinar is being recorded and all lines are muted by the organizer. Please submit your queries and concerns through the chat box window. You can submit your question through the Q&A box during the webinar, or kindly raise your hand using the Zoom feature and the host will unmute you. DNB shall share the webinar recording after the webinar. Please feel free to reach out to our marketing team through the email marketing@dnbsane.com in case you would like to speak to us directly after the webinar. All right, so on today's agenda, we've started 11 o'clock. So we are on the welcome address, an introduction of the housekeeping rule, which I just did. And at 11:05, we'll be taking you through a brief introduction about us, Dun & Bradstreet, who we are, what we do. At 11:15 to 11:20, the introduction of the speaker is going to come on. Also at 11:20 to 11:45, the presentation for today, which we are all gathered for, establishing international credibility to win grants for your NGO. At 11:45 a.m. to 11:55 a.m., discussions and questions and answer. Hope to put this to a halt at 11:55 to 12 p.m. with the closing remarks. Okay, I would want to take you through a brief introduction about what we do at Dun & Bradstreet. So for almost 2 centuries of growing relationship through that time, Dun & Bradstreet was established in 1841, and we've been ranked on Fortune's list of most admired companies in financial data service categories for several years. And currently we have a universe of data owing to over 550 million businesses that have recorded on our database. And currently we transact in 18 currencies, we speak 95 languages, and we are currently in 198 countries. And over the years, over the century, we've been opportune to have the likes of Abraham Lincoln to William McKinley we've been able to have them work with us as a privilege, sorry. Okay, why clients work with Dun & Bradstreet when they need to improve their business performance? First off, we currently have a universe of data, over 550 million businesses. We are the world's largest commercial trade payment network, and 90% of Fortune 500 companies of all sizes around the world rely on Dun & Bradstreet to help us grow and project their business. We have yearly updates, so we have 2 billion yearly updates to our global data and 1.4 billion match points. All these are the reasons you would want to consider to move with us. So in Nigeria, Dun & Bradstreet has established CRC, credit bureau, in conjunction with other Tier 1 banks. We've also designed and implemented risk management and rating models for CBN for other Tier 1 and Tier 2 banks. We've conducted a rating exercise for MSME in Nigeria, small and medium scale businesses in Nigeria, on behalf of Nexim Bank. We've developed and maintained NNPC NIPEX portals, developed a central vendor system portal for procurement, which we refer to as the vendor, in building Africa's largest database in readiness to fully implement AFC FTAs. Okay, so introducing today's speaker. My name is Nana Jamra Boateng, a sales associate with Dun& Bradstreet. I have been with Dun & Bradstreet for over 2 years, and I bring a wealth of experience in customer service relationship and also in sales. So today with me, I have the speaker, Mr. Oluwamuyemi Alexander Olumolade. He's a global communications specialist. He has worked as a senior business program manager at Microsoft's Africa Development Center, where he drove strategic communications and brand perception across West Africa. As a former philanthropist lead for West Africa, he led initiatives across 55 countries, focusing on data skills, AI for good, and employability programs that have transformed communities. He's a husband and a father with 2 kids. So you're welcome, Mr. Arimolade. Good to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Nana. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. I always try as much as possible to add to that my profile. Very short, but the most interesting part of my profile is that I support the best football club ever, Arsenal, 25 years. It's in my profile. I don't run away from it, okay? So, yeah, so I'm good. So thank you very much, guys, for having me. And I have 30 minutes to walk you through what I have for today. But before we get started, I know some of us are here, a couple of us are here. The last I checked was about 12, 13. So let's get this started quickly. This is the icebreaker. So I want to see, just put in the chat room, you understand this question that we have. There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals, right? If you are here with us, just type in the chat room if you can mention 3 of them and their corresponding numbers, okay? It'll be good. So while you put your name and where you're calling from, our icebreaker for today is, can you mention 3 of the SDGs and their corresponding goal numbers? Okay? So let's do that. How many minutes do we have to do that, Nana? 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 second.
Okay, so we have, you mean for you to speak, you have 35 minutes?
No. For this particular icebreaker, so we get...
It's ongoing.
It's ongoing. Fantastic.
Yes.
Great. So while you're here, you're dropping your name, where you are connecting with us from. Also, in addition to that, can you mention 3 of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and of course their corresponding goal numbers? We have 17. Just mention 3 of them and their corresponding goal number. All right, then. Thank you so much. So can we proceed as we continue the conversation for today? So next slide. Thank you. Great. So here you are. I know this would also give an insight to some of the things that we just spoke about. So are you aware of this? There are 17 of them. And I think the whole idea around you mentioning or knowing 3 of the 17 is the fact that it is always appreciated if any course that you're trying to your intervention course should align with any of the 17, because it would also help mitigate, the challenges that we have across the globe. So it is always advisable that once you are a nonprofit, some of, or if not, or your particular cause should align with, one of the Sustainable Development Goals. This helps you position, this helps you give access, and this helps you scale whatever you are doing as a nonprofit. Okay, and please, I use the word non-profit, is the same thing as NGO, okay? So let's move, let's go, next slide. So let's just get into it quickly. Thank you, the next slide, next slide, thank you, great. Now, there are always going to be questions around, hey, why are there reasons why non-profits in country or even on the African continent or even globally do not access grants from donors, right? It's always going to be why? Why can't? I've tried this a zillion times, I've tried this a billion times. I've never had opportunity to be successful in getting grants from either global brands or even global development agencies, right? Now, the first thing, I have 6 boxes there. We have 6 boxes there, and I will try as much as possible to talk to them. I think the first is competition, because every nonprofit somewhere around the world, they are driving as much as possible to be part of that same grant that we are trying to get. So there is so much competition in terms of the different nonprofits that are in the same course that we find ourselves in. So there is huge competition there, right? The competition is explosive. So the question is, because there are too many people, there are too many nonprofits, and they are trying as much as possible to be part of, they have the same cause that each and every one of us is trying to do, right? So first thing, competition is key. The second is alignment with goals. How well are you aligning what you're doing with a particular development agency or with a particular corporate organization, right? Most often than not, we tend to put together our grant proposal and it doesn't align with the ethos of the company or the donor that we are sending in our proposals, right? So what I would always advise, and the reason why I would say this, probably you saw the promo video that ran on Monday. I have done this for Microsoft Philanthropies, right? And Microsoft is a big donor, okay? In time past, the focus was on privacy. A few years back, it was big on skills, right? Digital skills, to how you use your digital skills to drive livelihood opportunities. But the focus now is on AI. So be updated with what the organization that you are writing your proposals, what is their focus, and what their current goals is. Do not always think that, oh, 3 years ago, the focus was this, and 3 years after, that will be the focus. So please always do the work of going to look, understand the goals that these different organizations or development partners, what their goals are, and so you can align with it. 3 is capacity and track record, right? What is your capacity? What is the scale of work you have done in time past? What is the scale of work you have done in time past? It's just like you asking for 10 million and you've not managed 1,000 before. You need to show up well in terms of what is your capacity to manage such grants that you are trying to get. Track record is how well are you showing the outcomes of the work you are doing, right? How are you showing it? Are you doing a report? Are you having infographics of this? Or are you even putting it online or even as a press statement, right? Most of these things, we take for granted are part and parcels of the back end check that most organizations go through to be sure that, this particular nonprofit that we are speaking to is legit, if you know what I mean. Which takes us to obviously transparency and accountability. How transparent are you? Right? Most nonprofits, when they put in their proposal, the numbers are audacious, and you cannot align what the numbers they are trying to attain with the grants that they are requesting for. So always try as much as possible to be transparent and accountable. If $1 is going to be used for one thing, please call it out, specify it, ensure that everybody sees it as so, rather than we keep it because something you pad the budget. No, when you are trying to get the right credibility, you don't pad budgets. Never. So please, if it's $1, if it's $1, if it's £1, please show it as that. And for every line item from a financial standpoint, this is what is meant for what. I think, if I recall, I think nonprofits get a 5% or 10% service charge. That is what is due to you, right? But if you are meant to spend $1 per child per meal, please do it. Okay. And also the geographic focus. What is the focus within that region? What is the biggest problem that that particular region is? You need to do your work. You need to do your research to understand the pain points within the geographical region that that particular grant is, is happening, or that intervention is taking place. Okay, and there are numerous examples that you can speak to. So don't generalize per country, right? Because trust me, in countries, there could be a grant for a particular country, but specifically in a particular region within the country. So take, for example, Nigeria has 37 states. If the focus of a particular grant is southern east or southeast or southwest, or north central or northeast or northwest or south, you need to have an understanding of what happens within that locale, rather than you generalize it based on the country. We always say the first set of people that benefits anything from communication or IT or adoption of IT is people in Lagos, right? So please, Lagos is just one of the 37, and Lagos is not Nigeria. So when you are being asked to deploy a grant, or you are assessing a grant that needs to be deployed in a certain location in the country, please have a full understanding of what happens in that space. And of course, what is the quality of your application, right? Are you doing the real work, or you're just doing work just to say, hey, you know what? I just need to just, put something there, right? When it comes to grant, organizations are literally very thorough in terms of looking at what you are putting out there so that it can be justifiable. So please, these are, and I just needed to put this out. I don't know if you are, how do I call it? If you are guilty of some of these charges, right? But please, as a nonprofit, or as you try to look for potential grants globally from, global donors or what we call global brands, kindly put this into consideration, because these are the 6 buckets that a lot of organizations always look out for, to check, okay, are you doing it well? Aren't you doing it well? Blah, blah, blah. And just to put a pointer there, do you know that 60% of people globally don't have faith that nonprofit can accomplish their mission? Because by default, they all feel, these guys, how can I trust them this level? You understand? So please, once you have, there is a mindset, and the only way you can navigate through that mindset is show up as being credible per time. Okay, right? Okay, let's move to the next. Next slide. Thank you so much. Right now, so this is simply ensuring that, okay, understanding what international credibility is all about, right? And I have 2 things here for you. One is the definition, and of course, the other is the importance. So let me say this. When you're talking of international credibility for nonprofits, it simply means being recognized and respected by global stakeholders, funders, and partners. It's about building that reputation over time that transcends borders, okay? Demonstrating trustworthiness, right? Reliability and effectiveness in the mission of your nonprofit, okay? And credibility reflects your nonprofit's ability to consistently deliver on its promises and maintain high standards of accountability and transparency. Right. The only reason why somebody will want to do business with you, in local parlance, we always say the only social capital that most people have is trust. If I don't trust you, I can't do business with you. Likewise, you will not be able to get a grant if the donor doesn't trust you. Trusting you means here being able to show why you are the most credible nonprofit to access this grant, right? And what is the importance? The importance here is having a credible international reputation is crucial. It opens doors for funding opportunities, as funders are most likely to support organizations with solid track record. So let me tell you how it works, right? The first thing is when funders or donors are looking for a nonprofit that they work with, the first thing is that they talk to themselves and say, look, I want to run this project in Nigeria. Do you know of a nonprofit that has the capacity to do this? Okay, right? So when you say, oh, nonprofit A, they go read them out, they go check them out, right? And we'll come to other parts of this conversation. They go check them out. They have their digital footprints. People read. People are listening to testimonials. Oh, great! What you see is from the Blues. They get an email that are they interested in this, right? So what am I saying in essence is that for you to be a reputable nonprofit, this will and can attract high-profile partnerships and collaborations, enabling you have access to pool of resources and expertise. And I'm going to and I will drop it there because this is what literally organization looks out for. 50% of nonprofit in Africa have some sort of credibility issue. Yes. I know I am in Nigeria. I don't know where, we on this call are from different parts globally, but I know of some nonprofits who take grants. The first thing they do, they buy cars, right, and live large. That is, they are not meeting the obligation of what that particular grant they have, been given. And a typical example of nonprofits that I can call out that has shown this over maybe the last 5-7 years. And please, if you are here and you know a nonprofit called Tech for Dev, I would appreciate if you can just signify that, in the chat room, if you've heard about the nonprofit called Tech for Development. It would be nice to know, because that is what nonprofit has shown credibility. They started small. They scaled where they did their first project of maybe $10,000. The truth of the matter is that you wouldn't get your first $1 million grant if you've not started with a 10K or a 15K or a 20K or a 100K. Now, when you show that you have capacity to deliver on that, and when you show that you can broaden, or you can use one program to expand collaboration, other donor agencies start taking you serious. So for Tech for Dev, they started small. Maybe the first grant they got, they did it free, or they didn't get a grant. They just did some things free. The first grant they got was maybe $10,000. And I think by just before COVID 2019, and this is a nonprofit that started by 2015, 2016. By COVID period, I know that they got a grant of about $1 million. Right. And I'm saying this is because over time, they had shown capacity. Now, because a brand like Microsoft gives a nonprofit in Nigeria $1 million, other development organizations like the Islamic Bank will be interested. Oh, for this organization to do this, I think we can support them. So things like that started coming for them. Oh, FCDO as well came for them. They started giving them opportunities. The American Tower Corporation, ATC, likewise. MasterCard Foundation, likewise. So start small, show capacity, and definitely the opportunities will come. Next slide. Thank you. Next slide, please. Thank you. Fantastic. Great. So obviously, when you are building international, credibility, this next thing that comes to mind is you need to have a strong local presence through your nonprofit engagement. Because if you don't have that local presence, how would you be able to show track record? Okay, right? So, and there are three buckets that people always look out for. What is your community impact, right? What partnerships, what collaborations are you driving, And the most important is the success story. How well are you communicating it? I tell people it's beyond telling it, show it. Let people who have benefited from such intervention speak with their mouth. I know that there are situations whereby it can be scripted, right? If it's scripted, then that means you are not transparent enough, right? So what is your community impact? Your nonprofits need to show tangible evidence of improving lives locally, like the numbers of people they have helped and the success story. Proving local impact builds trust and supports global initiative. I don't know how many of us here know Lagos Food Bank initiative. Because the kind of work is ensuring that nobody goes home hungry. Trying to demystify, I think, is the goal two of no hunger, right? And they do it, and I think their office is somewhere in Ikeja, right? People know them in the communities in Agege, the slums, the very underserved communities, because of the kind of work they do. So if you are a nonprofit, can the community that you find yourself speak to the quality of work that you do? Those are the big question marks, right? Secondly, what kind of partnerships are you, are you birthing? Who are you collaborating with? Who is seeing what you are doing and say, you know what, let's scale this up together, right? The person you collaborate with speaks volume of the value that you're adding. Then finally, how well are you telling that success stories, right? If you feel you don't need it, trust me, when you need a grant, they will ask you. Nobody is saying you should go get cameras that are being used to shoot Nollywood movie. Now everybody literally has a camera with their phones. It is essential. Don't take it for granted. Tell success stories of changed lives. People who before your program had issues, challenges. Your program was the catalyst, and this is the outcome of going through that your process or going through that your program, and the person is better for it. Please, how well are you showing that? How well are you telling that particular story? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, and this for me is like my bread and butter, right? We've talked about having your local, building your local foundation. The next is expanding your reach and visibility. Visibility here is how aware are people of, or how aware do people know of you? Okay. I tell people, because I'm a communications specialist, I said everything communicates. You speak, you don't speak, it communicates. 80% of communication is non-verbal, right? So when you are not speaking, you're actually communicating and you are telling somebody something. Now, it's now different if the person wants to take it as negative or positive, but everything communicates. Okay, so why am I saying this? Expanding your reach and visibility. Nonprofits need to be deliberate about telling their stories to drive, or in driving visibility. You have to be intentional about it, right? And where do people naturally would want to access or know if you exist? What is your digital presence or your digital footprint? You are a nonprofit, you don't have a website, it's a big question mark. Or in local parlance, they call it red flag, right? You don't have any social media presence, bigger red flag, right? You don't share newsletters, massive red flags, right? So the question here is, as a nonprofit and you are trying to be credible, where is your digital footprint? You don't need to call an agent or agency for you to start or build your first few social media platforms, right? If I get, in those days, when somebody talks to me about a particular nonprofit, I think there was a time in my life that I was, the month was October, the month of October, and we were told it is mental health week, right? Or mental health month, right? It is in October. And I was told, can I identify a nonprofit that is focused on that? Right. And I think I put in my prompt that year, and money showed up. Mental health, mental awareness, health of Nigeria, money. I know it's money. If they didn't have a website, if they didn't have their social media platforms, I wouldn't have gone to read what they do, validate what they do, and propose to my organs at the top to say, I think we have seen the organization that we need to work with. Now, we might be talking about nonprofit here, but to be very honest, it cuts across different facets. Okay? Now, your digital presence is one. Two, how well are you doing networking? I used to remember a boss of mine way back then, his name is IDN, and he once told me that, look, Yemi, if you need to speak to the president of the country right now, he would only make 2 calls and he will get the direct number of the president. The question is, who are you communicating with? Who are you building a relationship with? And how are you building this relationship? How well do you go to conferences that speaks to the causes that you are intervening in? How well are you building the stature of your nonprofit with the work that you're doing? How connected are you with the powers that be locally and globally? Everything needs to be deliberate. Everything is deliberate. So please, as a nonprofit, to expand your reach and visibility, how well are you doing that network? How are you building your network? Okay. And thirdly, your media coverage. Will somebody pick up the newspaper or checks an online post and your nonprofit's name, pops up? Everything, as I said, is deliberate. You need to be deliberate about it. And that's why I said nonprofit needs to be deliberate about telling their stories to drive visibility. So these are the key 3 things: your digital presence, how well are you networking, and how well are you putting the word out there of the work you do in the media space. It could be radio, it could be TV, it could be blogs, and it could be traditional newspaper. How well? And with the same vibe that I'm dropping, or the same nuggets or insights that I'm dropping, can, just like I said, it can be used across, be you a nonprofit, a social enterprise, a business. These are the winning rules in expanding your reach and visibility. Next, please. Next slide. Yeah. Okay. I think we have a poll. Thank you. So let's get our hands on this. So this is the first poll. To get featured in reputable publications and media outlet, what should non-profit do? I think we spoke about this. Please, let's see you engage with this poll. Right. I think yeah. What's happening? A lot of people. Okay. 78 people are saying 78% of the people who have attempted the poll has saying create newsworthy stories that highlight program success, and while another 22% is saying all of the above. Okay. Anyways, I think, Nana, how do we do this? Well, I think the create newsworthy stories are the ones who got it. So that's actually what it is. Next, please. I have another 3 minutes to go. So next slide. Thank you. Next slide. Thank you. And I think this is one of the few last slides. And what are the strategies, for winning these grants? And there is so much text here, which obviously at some point in time, the recording of this document will be shared with you. But I think the key 3 things that I will share with you here is, one, how well do you do your research? Right? There are grants everywhere. So how are you going about your research? Now, I think somebody once told me the definition of research is when you are searching something, do a second search about it. That's why it's called research. How well are you doing? Are you double clicking on it? Are you rechecking? Right? So the organization giving out the particular grant, have you gone to understand what their business vision, mission is, why they are doing it, and how what you are trying to do aligns with them? You need to know everything, right? So take, for example, in Microsoft, right? If they need to do any program, when they say, what is the diversity ratio? It is 50-50. You can't come and do any project with Microsoft and you now say, oh, the diversity ratio will be 70-30, because the company's ethos speaks to equality, right? So those very simple things that we take for granted, right? These are the things we need to be a bit deliberate about, to do the research about the company that is asking for a particular grant. How well do you know them? How well do you know how they speak? Right? There's always a tone in every organization. Every organization has its own tone. So please know that, right? Then how well are you writing the grant application? And what does this mean? It means, are you ensuring all the questions that are being asked, you are putting some examples to buttress it? Right. Especially in grant writing, I think what normally kicks a lot of nonprofit out is where they get to the budget. Right. Is where they get to the budget. And people start putting a lot of crazy numbers. When you have your budget and they say, break it down, people put a lot of crazy numbers. Right. Try as much as possible to be accountable and transparent in terms of your budget numbers. And if you don't know it, get a professional who would help you with it. Okay, so Writing the grant itself, what is the acts of the organization, the donor, and what are you responding from a nonprofit standpoint? I think the biggest issue or challenge people usually have is doing the writing process. It's not by force that you get the grant today and you write it today. Go through the questions, internalize it, look at the programs that you are doing, then align it with it. Okay? And finally, follow up. You submit a grant, a grant, and I know in most donors, they will tell you the grant will happen this time or that time, give us 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 5 days. If you have not received anything, please, you can reach out and say, hey guys, I know that you had promised this in the last 5 days. This is 7 days later. We've not heard anything. Just checking if we scaled through this process. Please ask. Okay. I have a teacher that always tells me, if in doubt, ask. Huh? Next, please. And I hope this is making sense for you. The next slide, I think it's the second poll, right? As we run through this, this conversation in a sprint manner, the second poll is, what were your takeaways from the conversation? Okay, let's also see you. Let's also get your hands busy, get your hands working on this, getting your hands working on it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think after the result comes out, fantastic. Wow. Okay, right, interesting. 73%, all of the above. 13%, strategies for winning grants, I'm building a strong local foundation, fantastic, and understanding credibility. I think every one of it is very crucial. And I'm also very appreciative of the fact that these are the things that you've taken out of this conversation today. So thank you, guys. I know that Nana will be coming back on, but I'll be in the cooler in this space waiting for the Q&A session. So over to you, Nana.
Thank you very much, Mr. Orimiemi, for that impactful session. I'm sure we've all been able to learn new things or same thing in a new form. So before we go on, please, if you have any questions, do well to drop them in the chat box. Also, personally, I've been able to highlight some cogent parts of your presentation, Mr. Orimiemi, and NGOs need to start small. They need to be transparent. They need to be accountable, have their documentations thorough, and partnerships, having a root in their community, having impact in their community, and sharing their success stories, testimonials. And one thing I've also learned is that, in a nutshell, trust and credibility is a tenable currency anywhere. So as an NGO, how then do you put all this into play? Like I said, trust is a tenable currency anywhere, even if it's not a non-NGO, but today we are focusing on NGOs. First off, your credibility is an important part of your business. How people see you, how people perceive you, even without having a direct contact with you, how you are perceived to be. Dun & Bradstreet's seal is built to reinforce trust. The symbol is a bold declaration that communicates the organization is dedicated to ethical practices, openness, and integrity, which we've been talking about for the past 40 minutes. It differentiates an organization from other businesses. The business information is accurate and up-to-date, which is a critical potential client, which makes critical and potential clients see you as trustworthy and transparent. Organization enjoys stronger reputation It helps in winning customer confidence and enhancing relationship with global partners and suppliers. It even would assist with government grants. Organization has met the criteria set by a leading company. A comprehensive verification led by D&B has given data, is able to give you data insights to help businesses and entities such as the NGOs. So what are we offering? What is the offering? How then do we, as Dun & Bradstreet, having a universe of information, how then do we come in to assist non-government organizations to help utilize all these points we've been highlighting in the past 40 minutes? And Bradstreet, that is the DONS register seal, is a solution that offers business community an opportunity to enhance trust and also confidence in its credentials in the online space by displaying verified and valid information about your business. The seal is an electronic seal that is going to be infused onto your electronic means of correspondence, which is a mark of openness on the company's part by their profile and also providing valid and verified information. Companies are eligible to choose among three profiles. We have three categories of this Dun & Bradstreet seal. We have the basic, we have the comprehensive, and also we have the premium. So going forward, I would want to shed a little light on the product overview. So this is what it looks like right on the screen, what it looks like once your profile is set up, once you've gone through the due diligence process and you have met all the criteria and you've checked all the boxes. We are going to set up a profile which you're going to be assigned in, which is tenable and recognized globally. Your company name is going to be included, your business lines, your business address, and employee range, import and export indications, your date of registration, the date you were incorporated, your registration numbers, and the likes of them. Also, for the comprehensive package, I did mention that we have three categories to the DONS registered seal. The comprehensive provides all information on the DONS and DONS registered seal basic, in addition with the depth information about your financial capability, your export percentage revenue, paid up capital, and so on. Your documents, that's your certificate and award. So now during the presentation, Mr. Rimuyemi did mention about your records, telling your stories, who have you partnered with, who have you worked with. So all this can also be incorporated into your seal. So with just a click away, all this information is made available to people who are onlooking and considering you as a potential client or partner. The company description, your limits, it's a limit of 2,000 characters, your brand name and trademark. Okay, so on the third category, which we refer to as the premium, this includes all other offerings, including the DONS registered basic, the comprehensive, and alongside your company relationships, banks and customers, management profile, and physical representation or a photograph of important people that are in the organization. So as a donor, I'm not just looking to getting these facts. I really need to see that, okay, these people are real, are in existence. So this has been put together to help you scale that barrier of distrust, bring your business as a credible source so you can have a winning edge. We also do know that it's actually a competitive world out there, even outside the non-NGOs, it is competitive. Okay, so as you have on the screen, I did mention you're going to be getting your DONS number, which is a 9-digit number assigned to you and is universally recognized and tenable. You're going to be getting your QR scan code, and with just a scan away, your company profile and information is made visible to onlookers. And also the floating seal itself, it's going to be included, and your company profile. Also, you'll be getting a DONS registered certificate. You're going to get a certificate that validates your number, includes your number and major information about your business. So lastly, you are going to be listed on D&B's global directory. So you are going to be joining the existing 880 million businesses on our profile. Okay, so before I go, I did mention that the DONS registered seal is going to be infused into your electronic means of correspondence and also your marketing collaterals. You can have them as inclusion on your email signature. It can also be used on letterheads and also as little as your complimentary card, branded items. That way, this information is not limited. Hence, you and I are not in control of the number of people that come across all this online. It's actually a very good medium for you to project the good works that your community is, that your company or your NGO is doing in your community. You have inclusion of your letterhead and your complimentary cards, branded items, the gift items, your flyers, and so on. So this would bring us to the question and answer phase. Okay, so Margaret, you do have a question. I'll be unmuting you now. Margaret, please, you have the floor.
Yeah, I didn't really have a question. I just want to commend you for bringing forth the program. Although I'm well trained and knowledgeable, but it's never too late to learn more and more. And I've really learned a lot. What I've always done is to privatize my NGO. We've deployed over 200 waste bins to different places. And we have profile containers that we have also deployed to several companies. But I've never showcased what I'm doing because, I just don't want to have any form of interventions or disruptions in what I'm doing. But I suddenly felt that I'm shooting myself in the foot. Nobody knows what I'm doing, the impact that I'm making. And thank you for the opportunity to make all those corrections. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Can I also respond to, Margaret, and to say, look, the truth remains, when there is a digital map that is being drawn, and they are putting the impact of the work we've done from a nonprofit standpoint, no matter how, great the work is, if nobody is seeing it, it can be painful. It's just for us. That's why I use the word, let us be deliberate. Non-profits always work like software engineers, right? Software engineers are only interested in ensuring that they ship their products to the markets. Just let's get this done. But they don't always try to tell the impact that particular product is doing. So please, let's just be deliberate about it. Thank you.
Kelvin, please, you have the floor. I can see you raise up your hand. I'm unmuting you now.
Okay, good morning, all.
Good morning, Kelvin.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, please, my first question is on the certifications, the seal and the rest of them. Is this certificate different from what we currently have as a D&B certificate that we currently have? Is it a new one? That is my first question. Then the second question is, this NGO, is it at the same as CSR? That is social security, community social responsibility. Is it the same with this NGO? And if the same, where are we supposed to where are we supposed to document all the CSR that we've been doing? Is it on our website or where? So those are my two questions. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Iriemi, can you please take the second question, then I'll round it up. So he did ask, okay.
Okay. Go ahead. The question, the second question.
So Mr. Kelvin asked about the CRS intervention. Yes.
Yeah.
Or can
Yes.
you retrieve that, Mr. Kelvin?
Just take the question again, Mr. Kelvin, so that I can
Okay.
give you the perfect answer.
Okay, the question is the NGO, is it the same as the CSR that we do as an organization? You know?
Okay, all right.
If yes, because you talked about having a proper documentation to show what you do in terms of either a pictorial or a motion documentation. Where do you want us to put this? Is it on our website to display all this in the website so that people can see that, okay, XYZ company have been doing this and this? So that is the question.
Okay, fine, fantastic. So non-profits are actually non-government, non-profit organizations that they don't make profit from the work they do. Most times, organization engages with non-profit for, yes, your corporate social responsibility. So when you do your CSR, most often than not, you either engage with a non-profit for you to execute it. Most often than not. Now, the kind of question you're asking me here is all about, it seems you are an organization and you're asking the question, is it right? Is it good? Is it well to show the kind of corporate social responsibility work you do? Oh, yes. Do you know that most organizations are becoming big on it? There is something called ESG, environmental social governance. Currently now, what we always hear is that you would hear your financial statement or your financial report. In the next 5, 6, 7 years, what companies globally will be measured on will be their ESG report. So what are you doing to the environment? What are you doing from a social standpoint? And what are you doing from a governance standpoint? The more you share this content, the more you show people that this is what your organization stands for, the more credit and more reputation you begin to earn in the eyes of your consumers or your customers. So yes, to what you have said in terms of pushing your content, it could be on your socials, it could be on your website. Tell and show your stories. If you do it and nobody knows about it, nobody would ever, appreciate you for the work you do. But once you do it and you show it, the blessing comes afterwards. Okay? Hope this had been helpful, Kelvin. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so to your second question, you did ask to know if the certificates you have an idea about is what you're still going to be getting. The answer is yes. And alongside, I want to believe you do not have a profile registration that is accessible on your website or to onlookers on your website. So alongside getting a DUNS number certificate, you're also going to have a proper profile that is going to include vital information about your business. Has this answered your question?
Sorry. Is this like a new registration? Because we currently have a DMB. We've been having DMB for so many years. And we still have the one that is still running till next year. So are we reapplying to get a new version of a DMB? Or with what we have, we can automatically be registered to have all this portfolio you just said? Because as it is, we as an organization have a DMB. And it's
okay, I do understand you better now.
active.
So what you have is, you have a DUNS number to show certificate to show that your business is actually existing. And the DONS registered sale is a little bit different to that. Like I said, your profile is set up and it shows that your business is credible and is accounted for. Like the topic we're discussing today, credibility and trust, which is a tenable currency everywhere. How then do you show that your business is credible? Yes, you do have a DONS number and a certificate, but for you to be able to project the right works and the good works of your company, your DONS registered sale is actually a must-have for you to be able to, project that.
Sorry,
So it's not a new registration. However, we would still have to go through the due diligence process. So, Mr. Omo, I could hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. And sorry for just stepping in. Mr. Kelvin, I think maybe what will help is after the call, and then I can reach out to you to get details of the actual certificate you have. And then we can advise on how you can maybe add this additional seal to the certificate. So it's not necessarily a new registration, it's just a different type of platform that will be on. But again, you can reach out to us after this, just for the sake of time. So we can then take it up from there.
Okay, we'll be taking the last question from Mabel. Mabel, please, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mabel. I'm representing SCAPTEC International, SCAPTEC Engineering Services. My question is in respect of Dun & Bradstreet. It was due for renewal by January this year, and they sent us a mail. But we have been able to submit most of those documents with an officer who is yet to take us to the next phase of payment and giving us a renewed certificate. And you can imagine since January, we are still on this topic up till now, being October. So I will appreciate if I can get someone that will be like an officer that will follow us from beginning to the end, because each time we are working with one person, it drops us.
All right. Okay, so we sincerely apologize for that, but you can send an email to this regards, Mabel, then we can take it up from them.
Mabel, sorry about that. Please, what's the name of the company again, just quickly?
SCAPTEC Engineering Services. SCAPTEC Engineering Services.
SCAPTEC, you said?
Yes, SCAPTEC. XCAFTECH.
Okay.
Then
Thank you. We'll check it out, but like Nana mentioned, please do send an email. We'll be sure to close it out. I see we have a question from Oluwatosi before we wrap up.
Okay, yes, good afternoon, everyone. I really want to appreciate you for this beautiful presentation. I just want to ask a question because I joined in a bit late. I want to know how, because I belong to a particular NGO, so I want to know how we can get listed with DONS. I really don't know what that DONS stands for. I don't know, but with the little stuff I heard about the DONS, like you have to get acquainted with the DONS, before you can, get the grant and everything. So I want to know more about the DONS and the criteria, what and what I need to get or our organization need to get to be part of DONS.
Oh, okay. Oluwatosi, I would be sending you an email after this webinar to take you through the list of requirements you need to meet to be able to, and give you a detailed insight on what you need to do and how you need to go about it, if that's fine. So I'll be taking note of that.
It's fine, it's fine. I look forward to receiving your email.
Most definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's going to be the last question from Oluwatosin. And it's been nice having everyone. Mr. Alexander Ori-Molade, thank you very much for making time to be a part of the webinar. And if our audience have more questions, please do well to send us an email and we would sure to respond. Okay, I can see more questions coming in. We will definitely take notes of this and reach out to you accordingly. Thank you everyone for making out time. Thank you very much.